Now, with all of that out of the way, here, when using that integrated terminal, as mentioned, we already navigated into that right folder in that terminal, and therefore we can now run that script. And if I do that, then for this script, which was generated for me here, I'm asked to enter the path that contains the files I want to organize. And right now I have no such path here, so I'll quickly create such a demo folder, and I'll name it demo files. And I now did add some MP4 and WAV files into that folder. And therefore now if I enter that folder name here, demo files in my case, hopefully this script goes ahead and organizes these files. And indeed, the files are gone now, and I have these subfolders, and I have the audio file in the audio folder, and the video files in the video folder, and then for this demo here, the other folder is empty because I have no other files. So here for me, this program worked. It's definitely possible that for you, it did not work because maybe ChatGPT generated some code that does not work. Now, what can you do if ChatGPT gives you code that does not work? Well, you can basically do what we already did before when I explained what you can do if you can't execute the program. So when I, for example, described that you might get this no such file or directory error. You report errors or missing features to ChatGPT so that it helps you fix them. And then you basically have this iterative process where you then again try executing the program. And if it works, you're happy. If it does not work, you again report those errors to ChatGPT and you keep on going through that process until you have the working program. For example, here, I will remove this one import line here, which for me was in line 3, which will break this code. If I now do take all these files and re-add them right into demo files, and I get rid of these subfolders again, and I now try to execute this program again, if I enter demo files, I will now actually get an error because I broke the code. Now, of course, typically you would not break your code, but ChatGPT could have generated code that contains an error. So here I just broke it to simulate that you got code with an error. In that case, it's always a good idea to take a look at the output and to then maybe take the entire output, or if you're able to identify the parts that seem most important, to just copy and paste those parts. So here maybe this line of code or this line of error output. And you would then, again, as mentioned, go back to ChatGPT and let it know about this error. For example, like this. Now, here in this case, of course, the problem is that ChatGPT, of course, in theory, has the correct code in its memory, but nonetheless, it understands that the problem seems to be that the file type module seems to be missing, has not been imported. So therefore, it basically ignores that in theory it gave me correct code earlier, and instead it focuses on my error description and gives me an updated code snippet that now again contains this import, which I deleted. So therefore now if I would take this entire code snippet, or in my case, since I know what I broke, just this import statement here again, I can update my code. And if I would now try to run it again, it would work again. So it's typically this iterative process through which you go if you're building programs with ChatGPT. And especially if you have no development experience, you will of course typically have to ask a lot of questions and report a lot of errors because, well, you got no experience with such things. So naturally, you need more help from ChatGPT, but at least for basic tasks and basic programs like this one, ChatGPT also tends to be able to provide great support and to generate decent code.